Welcome back to Sunday. It's Sunday, you divine lions and lionesses. This is amazing because the quantum financial system is live. Congratulations, you've made it. And a chance to be privy to the most remarkable asset-backed upswing for finance, for sovereignty, for freedom in multiple generations all around the world. Plus, 3iAtlas is near and FAFO is wide open. I'll be recapping a week of winning for mankind despite the Tina Peters torture going on in Colorado, the massive crypto crash, I'll tell you what that means and the signals lying ahead, as well as the calls for jihad all across America, Canada, the UK, and other places too. This is, though, incredible. Plus, Big Pharma is on its last stand. It is falling massively, and wellness is picking up. Stay tuned. We'll see you in the live chat soon. Hey, welcome back. It's Senate Sunday. I'm your host, Brad Wozni, and you're on the Sovereign Soul Show. You know our creed, our ethos right here is standing for love, levity, and liberty. And awesome to see people in the live chat on Rumble and on YouTube. Now, over my shoulder is the Bling Buddha. He's our mascot, and he's firing the pills of awakening from his SIG 226, a 9mm. He's wearing that Punisher tattoo over his left breast, symbolizing Save the Children. And he has on, as you can see, clearly, a gold and silver necklace, hence the blinked, right? And an XRP token on that silver medallion, which he's been wearing the entire time we've been on the air. Included in that is the lotus flower of life and the dove of peace. And what you just saw this week is President Trump become the chairman of the Board of Peace at the United Nations. This is a massive winning in the public, which continues. And we're going to go to this clip of President Trump the night before his inauguration as 47, just this January. My goodness, it's been 9 months. And what he was declaring to the audience about winning. Check it out.
Tomorrow at noon, the curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline, and we begin a brand new day of American strength and prosperity, dignity and pride. Bringing it all back. Once and for all, we're going to end the reign of a failed and corrupt political establishment in Washington, a failed administration. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to stop the invasion of our borders. We're going to reclaim our wealth. We're going to unlock the liquid gold that's right under our feet. Liquid gold. We're going to bring back law and order to our cities. We're going to restore patriotism to our schools, get radical left, woke ideologies the hell out of our military and out of our government. And we are going to make America great again.
You can just feel the vibe from that speech. Amazing. I have God bumps everywhere. It's truly amazing. And all of you are sovereign souls in our family. And listen up to this, by the way, because this is a 7-day warning. Goldco, who we're affiliated with, you know, you go to BuddhaLovesGold.com, go right over that page. I'll show you in a moment. Well, they drop that kind of offer that you don't want to sleep on. This is an 11% free match in silver or gold on qualified orders. It's not someday, it's not maybe, it's right now. And it ends right at November 30th. So we have 7 days, less than that, to take advantage of that. And if you've watched my shows, you already know the play. When the old system shakes, the smart people moving into hard assets. That's part of what this show is about today, too, by the way. And gold and silver, they don't lie, they don't glitch, and you don't need permission to move it around like fiat currency. This is literally free precious metals added to your sovereign stack. There's no catch, there's no games, and it's just a rare window of opportunity only for the Sovereign Soul Show. Nobody else is doing this, and I'm so grateful for it. So once these 7 days are gone, 11% free match is gone. So hit the link, buddhalovesgold.com, make the call, lock it in. That future you is going to thank the present you right now for not hesitating. You protect your sovereignty, you're building your fortress, and here's that page. When you hit the link at buddhalovesgold.com, links right in the description, and we'll put it in the chat. And there you are. You'll see the picture of me, Brad Wozni, from IRAs to Cash. And you can call the number up there that's toll free. It's directly linked to us. Put in your name, email, phone, send your free gold and silver guide. And there's the chart of gold since the beginning of history, 1913, that it was tracked, right? 1915 to 2025, 100 years, just crushing it and about to go to the freaking moon. So what else do we have today? Before we get into the gold, the crypto, the Nasara in a very, very big way, I just want to cover off a few other items because the FAFO, which you saw in the trailer, is widespread. Now, we know that Elon is an agent of the White Hat Alliance, 2.0 that he is. Maybe it's even 3.0. We've surmised a few times. And back in the summertime when Doge was going great, and then it looked like he was kicked out of the White House and anti-Trump and all this kind of stuff, the Epstein, you saw that amazing special operation come together, where this week, as Derek and I showed on the show, and I pulled up the picture because the night before, sitting Melania taking a picture with President Trump on her side and immediately beside him at the state dinner for the Prince of Saudi Arabia is Elon. So this is what Elon posted just before coming on here, what you were all watching. Murderers, where there is unequivocal evidence of guilt, should be hanged and has been the case throughout history. And he was responding to Will Tanner's post 7 hours ago of if you just hang criminals, this doesn't happen. In Europe, became the greatest civilization ever, seen by hanging criminals for centuries, executing 1% to 2% of each generation, until doing so became unnecessary because the crime genes had been weeded out. So that is FAFO, Foxtrot Alpha, Foxtrot Oscar. If you guys don't know what that means, it's fuck around, find out. But at a level where you're literally going back to, okay, so you're going to come in and you're going to rape my child as a pedophile. And just like we saw, it was in Chicago, guy just got off of 72 arrests that he's already been arrested 72 times. And he set a woman on fire and all this kind of stuff. Like, no. There's no reform for those people. And Valentina Gomez responded to Elon Musk with this powerful picture. And she says, murderers, rapists, and pedophiles deserve a bullet, not 3 meals a day. And I'm glad that you agree with ending these monsters once and for all. And look at that. She's got a dummy there taking that picture, and she did that today, 5 hours ago. So here you are. When we see, and you just got to read the comms, which have been coming out, which is part of our show every week. Derek and I put out for all of you. And interpreting the comms like, okay, so you have an agent of the White Hat Alliance, Elon 3.0, putting all this out. If they're a murderer, unequivocally, immediate death, right? Do their quick trial, off you go. Then we've got it for rapists and pedophiles. You can't really reform them, right? That's it. Like, you forfeited your life. So this is where all this is going. And as I also showed this week, and you saw in the trailer, the amazing Obama treason photo. So we are seeing more of this. And you saw this part in the trailer too, FAFO. And this is from a few months ago. And it was generated by Grok and put together and shared widely around the net, which was fantastic. But I showed you in the trailer Scavino's post, FAFO on X. That was January 27th. And this was just this week from President Trump, on seditious behavior punishable by death. That's 3 days ago, November 20th, right? Now, somebody added this in, by the way. They added in the treason will never be tolerated in America. They added that photo of Obama in, I want televised military tribunals. They're getting everybody ready, which is amazing. Now, what I said today to Elon and Valentina, and who knows, they're probably not even watching or listening to that. And I've been saying it here for a long time. There has probably got to be 100 million. These are my guesstimates. 100 million around the planet easily who are responsible for crimes against humanity, committing crimes against children, committing the genocide, right? The Victor Alpha, let's just do X-ray, because this is on YouTube. And we found they're still suppressing. So for that genocide, so those who are willingly complicit, that includes euthanasia. That includes businesses making decisions which will cause harm to everybody. And if you think that the death penalty for people who have committed absolute crimes against humanity, of all of those that I've named above, including rapists and pedophiles, they should just get the immediate death penalty provided again. I'm not asking for vigilantism here. I'm saying true military tribunals with unequivocal evidence, as Elon had posted. Watch this video of what they've done to the families and just athletes that has been heavily suppressed, which was brought back recently.
Interfacing with the shots, it's true. DARPA research and the operational programs to infect us with remote controllable prion clusters in the brain before they even rolled out COVID. I just got chills. This is so evil. I mean, this is how you take over. You colonize people. You implant everybody with these, whether you've had the shot or not. It's everywhere. You get these proteins growing in you. They hit you with the frequency, and it looks like you died of a stroke. Man, this is bad. All over your brain, hit you with it. Bzzz, crystals grow in the next few days, cut through arteries, cut through veins, cut through capillaries, stroke out. Or he says we can just hit them with a light dose and just fog everybody out and make them sick where they can't think straight.
So here you are, right? That is just with the athletes. And that video is like 2 years old. And that is just televised, recorded, pieced together, put together. And we know it's so much more. Now, a couple of things, right? When we saw it with Kennedy, and I love this meme, Department of Health 2021 versus Department of Health 2025. Absolutely fantastic. And, you know, you can just say that that's China right now, and Australia and the UK, the NHS, what's still going on over there. But we have the ability, the God-gifted ability, and amazing entrepreneurs of the light who have given us wellness technologies and proven it by medical, clinically backed case studies of reversing nearly all of the effects of what the Alliance of Indigenous Nations has 100% classified a weapon of mass destruction, a nuclear, chemical, biological, radiological, technological weapon of mass destruction that they injected everybody with. So Root Brands, whom I've had multiple times on the show here, Clayton Thomas, the co-CEO and the husband of Dr. Christina Rahm, and her on the show here a few times as well. She's got an MD, 3 PhDs, a PsyD. She healed her own Lyme disease, which was the precursor to starting the Root Brands, because she had all this knowledge. So the Trinity Pack that has Restore, and I'm showing this to everybody because here's an opportunity for something that's like $7 a day US. If you have people in your life, which we've covered many times, and I continue to take this daily, coming up on 4 years now with Root, taking it daily. So zero in, right? Trinity Pack, Restore, and Clean Slate. Now remember, on the screw tube, still got to talk because we're live streaming right now. We need to be wary of what we're saying. Back in the day, Root took Clean Slate and videoed it under a microscope, right? And all this is natural. It's incredible. And it's American made. It's in like 90 countries. And they took this out of dropper because what does it do? It chelates heavy metal toxicities out of the body, and it also activates your pineal gland. It also decalcifies your pineal gland. All natural. Tastes a little salty, tastes pretty good. So they put a dropper of this against graphene oxide under the microscope, and guess what? The nanoparticle of the graphene oxide completely departiculated. Guess what? They obviously lost their channel as a result of that for misinformation. Well, here we are now, Trinity Pack. So the links to Root is in the description. You can contact them, hit that link, go to contact us, right? They can get back to you. And they even, for our customers on our Sovereign Soul Show and others, they have set up a 48-hour email return service where you can email their science department and ask them certain things, and they can give you recommendations on their natural wellness products, which could help. Because again, you can't promise to treat, prevent, heal, or cure at this point in time, even though you have all of the evidence that many of those things are, including the Hungarian team in 2022, who had all been double jab minimum, had pericarditis, myocarditis, and other symptoms. And with blood, stool, and urine samples, they started the Trinity Pack with an ivermectin protocol. And with that protocol per athlete in 8 weeks, back again with the blood, stool, and urine samples, no evidence of ever being jabbed at all. The other one we have is X39. And as you all know, you've seen Catch the Life Wave here, these little amazing stickers, which have almost 20 patents on them. And one of those patents is for reversing agent. Know what's amazing too? So is Trinity Pack altogether. They have filed patents last year with clinically backed studies of reversing aging, autism, ADHD, and dementia with the Trinity Pack I just showed you for $7 a day, where people are taking like farm pills. Again, now we're on YouTube again. Those pills, and in my personal opinion, they're all poison. That's my personal opinion. But I'm not a doctor, never played one on TV, so don't take my advice, right? None of this advice is medical or financial and all that kind of stuff. You're sovereign. It's up to you to make your own choice. So here we are. This X39 with, again, cell-energized AM activates all your stem cells, and within 72 hours, a third of your genome. And this thing restores your DNA for less than $1 a day. And that little sticker, and I'm wearing X39 right now. I've got energy enhancers on because I did a big workout this morning, and then also X49. But this thing, I got LifeWave, like, as we've had doctors on the show here, medical doctors said your stem cells, if it built you, it would heal you. That's what started. That's what started us all. That's our blueprint. When dad's sperm fertilized mom's egg, as long as it wasn't in a test tube, right? And some of the labs that we now have become aware of, that is the blueprint, the architect, the footprint for the amazing you, which has been created by virtue of our creator. So you get back to that. You have rapid healing, heals wounds fast, incredible sleep, incredible focus altogether. So we have these incredible solutions that are here for us now. So we do not need to become one of those athletes that you saw, or the elderly, or we don't have to check into a hospital and worry about being euthanized like across Canada and other places they're doing. And you know, just 2 weeks ago, we had Veterans Day in America, Remembrance Day across the Commonwealth Canada for those of us who have served, those who have served before us, those who are serving now in the light, in uniform and military. And you know what China did? They contacted all their veterans and brought them in and had a seminar about why euthanasia, i.e. medical assistance in death, would be great for them. And then their families could get a payout. So we have to be fully aware of the still last bastions of satanic, demonic entities and those who are working for them around us. And by being aware of that, you know, if this, then that. All right. So if the chance is to go over here and get euthanized for something you really don't need, maybe there's something else naturally that could help make you feel better, make you get back to sleep, get you in a beautiful parasympathetic state with some deep sleep and healing, bring back your focus, cleanse your pineal gland, detox your body, make you feel better, healthier, stronger, have more mental acuity and focus, right? And it's truly amazing. And both of these programs allow us to be affiliates of them, and those within our team to be affiliates from them too, to share that, to share the light, which is remarkable. And on that note, regarding sharing the light, I want to discuss a bit about President Trump's moves that you saw this week, right? Now, on our show, if you watched Derek and I, and we covered a few things were coming up, it was on Wednesday, which was the day after the Prince of Saudi Arabia. Remember, President Trump had the sword dance there and anointed king. And the king, King Trump, he's the only one who can touch the prince. Not only just shake his hand, pat him on the back, pat him on the arm, grab his hand, and we saw all of that. So again, those comps. Plus, we also saw them do the special operation, the proper special operation, signal, when they were giving a press conference. And there you are, just like Eric Trump during Inauguration Day of this year, massively, and Lara going, okay, that's enough, that's enough, right in front so everybody can see, right? And we had Barron going up to the Joe Biden look-alike at the inauguration and point him in the chest. And Barron, what is he, 6'8" now or something? He's a giant, and I think he's part Pleiadian too. And tell him, you're done, your reign is over. Just enough so certain cameras can pick it up. And what we have right now is epic. On the show with Cindy Lou Young yesterday, and if you watched that show, I brought on James Bowder as a surprise guest toward the end for her, so she could see the stand in solidarity of the man who architected the Canadian Freedom Convoy. And if you saw our show that James and I did, I called it Man Who Saved the World. And he talked about what motivated him, because he got baptized in the horse trough and came up. Immediately listen to this story. Go in there and check it out with Cindy Lou and surprise guest James. So it was awesome. James said, absolutely, I'll be on. And we have a show of solidarity from the original architect and the creator of the Canadian Freedom Convoy, who has filed for political asylum. He's in America right now because the deep state in China wants to throw him in prison for a minimum of 15 years. And just like so many of us, taking the money, taking the bank accounts, taking all of his possessions, and continue to, at his level, do incredible amounts of lawfare, along with so many others. And that was a powerful, powerful show. And for those of you who missed it, Cindy had launched a book called Unbound. And we discussed it where you can see on the screen right now. It is, and thank you to all of you. By the way, she texted me, just got bumped up to number 18 of best-selling books of all time for the civil rights category on Amazon. So we are here to help this get to number one. I'm going to make it a number one bestseller. So it's all of you incredible divine lions and lionesses who went ahead, and the link is below the description and on the show yesterday, who went ahead and purchased even the Kindle version for just $6.99, or the paperback for $19.99, or the hardcover for $38. You are actually allowing your voice to speak, to share the light of this incredible woman. And the subtitle, as you can see, is Saved by a Cowboy, a Rabbi, and a Carpenter. When the storm rose, she stood. So it was an incredible show. I'm going to read one of the comments that I had today on the show that we took up, but on the back jacket, before we go there, it says, if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. And she read some incredible quotes. And before we go there, I also want to show this video, because here she was going in where they convicted her on August 9th of last year in Washington, D.C., and she rode back to the courthouse in D.C. on a white horse carrying that flag for which they charged her. Her carrying in the Capitol as mischief. And here that is, with Lisa Schermerhorn's voice, no less.
Perfect.
So how about that? So here she is riding in on a white horse and took it all the way to the courthouse, to the doors, dismounted, and walked in with the flag in the courtroom where she was sentenced. Now here we are, all this time later, where just on Friday, November 21st, that she had been sentenced to prison. So they convicted her and found her guilty on August 9th, and she was sentenced to prison 2 days ago, 1 year anniversary. And here she is launching this incredible book. So let me just read to you the beautiful quote. Here's the page, the quote that was made in the I got assigned to view the comments on Google Chrome. Bear with me, I'm just on the other browser too for this. So here's what this beautiful lady, sounds like it was a lady, wrote in the comments last night having watched the show. Susie FL, I guess Susie, Florida, 8 hours ago. Let me start by saying thanks again for depleting my tissue restock. Laugh out loud, not a dry eye the entire hour. Brad, you and Cindy have once again filled my heart with so much love, light, and inspiration to keep going forward in this battle of God versus evil. And then with James coming in as your special guest, being reminded of his divinely called Freedom Convoy plan, once again had me reaching for that tissue stash. Hearing you all describe what it cost just kept the tears flowing down my cheeks. I wish I could give you all a huge hug. You're part of the community I trust and I call the porch lights. By keeping it on, we know we are home. It shines as a very safe beacon for truth knowers and tellers, inspired by God's love, compassion, energy, and strength. We aren't just being protected by God's armor. We are off limits to the evil ones. I keep you in my daily prayers and truly do hope someday to meet you and give you that big hug. Shine on, change those bulbs, and know you are so loved by me and so many. So Susie FL, whomever you are, absolutely amazing. Really appreciate it. And what I'll just be doing here again is putting Cindy's link to her book in Amazon in the chat so you all can go anywhere around the world. It's a little tiny URL on Amazon, which will take you directly to the store, whether you're in Australia, South Africa, Canada, America, right now watching this broadcast or listening later to the podcast, and it'll take you right there so you can purchase even just the Kindle version. And let's help get it to #1. It's sitting at 18 already for the best civil rights books of all time. So let's get it. Let's help Cindy. There's 166, it says, watching live on Rumble. So 166 people make a purchase for $6.99 on Kindle. That bears incredible weight. So let's just take a moment now and let's do that. In the chat, you can see it on Rumble. You can see it on YouTube as well for those who are watching and posted there. Just hit that link, click it, and make just even the Kindle purchase of $6.99 on Amazon to help Cindy. I mean, she has hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees, which are due alone. And they took her GoFundMe platform back in the day. And this woman is still fighting the good fight. So just awesome. Oh, we have a troll in the chat. I'll get rid of that. Perfect. Done. Joe Tuan says there's so much truth on Amazon, they even put out a book on the chemtrails. Yep, it's all coming out. And that's part of the winning. And that's a great example here as well. So we all get after it right here. Just in the course of this show, there should be almost 200 orders for Cindy, for Unbowed, to show the deep state, sending them a message that they can't ignore that freedom and God always reigns, simply by ordering her book. Truly amazing, and it's epic. So I want to take you over to what is coming up with regards to NESARA, GESARA, quantum financial system, and banking, etc. And I know that's on the back of everybody's minds too, which is awesome because we're all playing a part. What I'm going to do here is I am going to post another link into the chat, and that will take you to President 45, the White House archives. And I'm going to read this to you because this is the executive order President Trump signed on December 21st, 2017. See that? I'm taking a sip of Cellargized water out of my root cup. Always with the nutrition, always with the patches, because we still have crap in the air and they still have poison parts of our food. Cloned lab meat all across Canada now. They won't even tell you. They said, we're not going to tell you what kind of meat's in the packages. So you should always stay vigilant. And it's just part of being sovereign, right? Taking care of your being. And by the way, as an point to that, and it's been about a year since I've done this on the show about Trinity Pack. What's incredible, and I noticed in the first few months by taking the Trinity Pack, my meals were cut down by half. And I remember asking Clayton and Dr. Ron about this, and they said, yeah, because we have such incredible high quantities of nutrition in it, your body doesn't feel necessary that you have to go out there and fill the void, right? Biochemically fill the void to get the nutrition it really needs because it's coming in. So right there's an opportunity cost. When you look at economics and ceteris paribus, all things being equal, and you know that Wilfrid Laurier University recruited me to, well, they recruited me. I applied to go there for their honors economics program, right? And calculus was my nemesis. But you look at all things being equal, the opportunity cost. So let's just say that you've got like a $30 or $50 a day budget in your family for food, right? And then all of a sudden you cut that budget in half because it's offset by something that's $7 a day, the Trinity Pack. You're actually winning as a result of that because now you're in the black and positive very quickly as a result. So that was really incredible to me. And let me just share with you, okay? So got it? Like there is an incredible, powerful solutions here that do so much more that few people discuss. So let me go into the executive order of President Trump and why this is also related to, I believe, 100% believe this, related to our NESARA time across the nations of the world and our asset-backed precious metals, new, some say rainbow currency. I would definitely say it's U.S. Treasury notes and bricks. So it's executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. And by the way, I interpret this because we just had yesterday, you saw the farmers convoy in Canada for the ostriches that they went out and they killed. You know, it was almost a little over 2 months ago to the day when I was there at the ostrich farm with Katie and her mother Karen and Doug and the family and Esper and her brother and the RCMP were everywhere. And they had, you know, just shortly before that, you know, surrounded Katie and Karen and said, you can feed your ostriches one last time. Come on over here. And away from the cameras, they had like 40 freaking RCMP vehicles that went in and said, get out of your car right now and be arrested. And if you don't, we're going to send in the ERT, emergency response team. So they had, even though a few hours away, a young boy was reported missing. You know, they put like all these assets out there on these farmers. Well, we had these incredible farmers convoy yesterday. And why am I going into this? Because this is an executive order that extends around the world. This isn't just for Americans. This is around the world, right? Executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. RCMP, CFIA, and all of the politicians, FYI. It says, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the National Emergencies Act, the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act, of the Immigration and Nationality Act, and Section 301, Title 3, United States Code, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the prevalence and severity of human rights abuse and corruption that have their source, in whole or in substantial part, outside the United States, such as those committed or directed by persons listed in the annex to this order, have reached such scope and gravity that they threaten the stability of international political and economic systems. Human rights abuse and corruption undermines the values that form an essential foundation of stable, secure, and functioning societies, have devastating impacts on individuals, weaken democratic institutions, degrade the rule of law, perpetuate violent conflicts, facilitate the activities of dangerous persons, and undermine economic markets. The United States seeks to impose tangible and significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuse or engage in corruption, as well to protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. I therefore determine that serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. And I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. I hereby determine an order, and this goes on for a bit, so I'll just read the next 2 or 3 paragraphs, all of you, because I've listed it here. You can just check it out and pull it up on your browser if you're not in our chat. These next couple of paragraphs, and I'll leave it at that. But it is strongly worded, and it leaves no room for interpretation otherwise. That FAFO says, I hereby determine in order, Section 1A, all property and interest in property that are in the United States, that hereafter come within the United States, or that are or hereafter come within the possession or control of any United States person, of the following persons are blocked and may not be transferred, paid, exported, withdrawn, or otherwise dealt with. Dealt in the persons listed in the annex to this order, any foreign person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, to be responsible for, complicit in, or to have directly or indirectly engaged in serious human rights abuse. The ostrich farm alone, the truckers convoy alone, all the judges going after James Bauer and the 272 in Canada, all of those who took the LRADs at the Australian Epic event and tried to microwave 2 million beautiful Australians who were standing up peacefully for their freedom. Listen up. Oh, and then all those committing euthanasia, murdering seniors with midazolam, using Valacur, remdesivir in the hospitals, all those weapons of mass destruction we talked about. Listen up. To be a current or former government official or a person acting for or on behalf of such an official, there's your RCMP right there in CFIA at the ostrich farm, who is responsible for, complicit in, or has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts, or the extraction of natural resources or bribery. Hey, remember, if you were going to go hiking in the forest in Newfoundland or Nova Scotia just 3 months ago, rather, in August, $150,000 fine, one year in prison. Misappropriation? Corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts, or the extraction of natural resource or bribery, the transfer or the facilitation of the transfer of proceeds of corruption, or to be or have been a leader or official of an entity, including any government entity that is engaged in or whose members have engaged in any of the activities described in subsections 2A, 2B1, or 2B2 of this section relating to the leaders or officials' tenure, or an entity whose property and interests in property are blocked pursuant to this order as a result of activities related to leaders or officials' tenure, or to have attempted or engaged in any of these activities described in the subsections, and it continues to go on. Any person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, A, to have materially assisted, sponsored, or provided financial, material, or technological support for, or goods and services to, or in support of, and it continues on. This is massive. And that's just one of the 55 executive orders the good president signed at that period of time, 2017. Now, what did you see this week? Because we're going to come up to this, back onto the gold, the silver, the crypto, not really a crash, but it's definitely dipped all across the board, right? Now, what do we see? You had the so-called mayor of New York City, Ma'am Danny, who is literally, from the clips that I've seen or I've come across, looks like he just wants to kill everybody. And apparently he's a supporter of pedophiles. Now, I haven't got that from him directly, but it certainly looks like that. But at any point in time, he wants to bring in communism, Satanism, right, and the Sharia law while he was at the White House. And if you saw the amazing picture and the nice comms from President Trump is sitting at his desk in the Oval, and Ma'am Danny is a good 8 feet away from him, and he looks like he's got the tail between his legs. It looked like that boy got the tongue lashing, and the FAFO read to him there. What did we see yesterday? Minneapolis, President Trump puts out on Truth, immediately revoked all the temporary protected status of all the Somalis, anybody from Somalia in Minnesota. Deportation. What else did we see this week? On the very day, the Prince of Saudi Arabia visits the White House, for which I haven't seen anything come across that he's done so before at 45's tenure, and certainly not during the dash. That's when they showed the picture of Biden, the footage of him fist bumping him right over in Saudi Arabia. I think that was Jim Carrey playing Biden then, so it was a great job. What do we see? Muslim Brotherhood listed as a terrorist organization by the United States of America. And I've already mentioned Elon 3.0 sitting there right beside President Trump. So for all those people who went crazy, just a great way to segment and see those who were anti-patriot. And then you have the United Nations install him as the head of the Board of Peace. And there right now you have the United States Navy and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth putting out there just the last few days that they are ready to kick off on Venezuela. Canazuela, up in the so-called Great White North. So here we are, you amazing souls, at points in history which are just speeding up in such a great way. Now, again, what I would also ask everybody, as I put into the trailer in our reel here about Tina Peters. So Tina, on Thursday morning, if not Wednesday night, depending on the reports that came out of the prison, was thrown into the hole, solitary confinement, by the warden of the prison. The warden threw her into solitary confinement. Gold Star mother, Tina Peters, who has lost her son, her only son, Navy SEAL, who has now lost her husband, who was thrown into jail for simply doing her job, for reporting election irregularities. How is it? So we have some work to do still. Jake Lang. And Jake was in Dearborn, Michigan this week, being attacked, being spit on, being punched in the face, and the guy on camera for 2 minutes saying, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to murder you, I have my gun, I'm going to murder you," right? All that kind of stuff. In Texas, where we see Doc Chambers, and these are people to pray for, and these are people also stand up for, and there's so many more. So there's just a few names here. Doc Chambers, former retired Lieutenant Colonel, Green Beret, Special Forces, an osteopath, flight surgeon, running for governor. Valentina Gomez, whom you saw earlier that I showed on X, saying they want to bring in Sharia law. There's 24 mosques that have been built here in the last 2 years, and people are chanting death to America, and they're living there. There's still a ways to go, but there's so much greatness, which we can also see. And also, as I mentioned, Big Pharma's fault, where we have memes like this, and you have people calling it out. You have people waking people up, and you have people who are turning away to anything that has to do with a chemical weapon. Now, maybe a surgical strike and, certain things are good for a period of time, but it's no way to really heal, right? And I think Gregory Mascari's amazing quote, having been here on the show, is he said, chemical weapons and surgical strikes are no way to heal the body, like we saw with chemo. And yet Dr. William Mackis is at the conference in El Salvador talking about how he's turning around stage 4 cancer patients with things. And again, because we're on the new YouTube, those of you can read between the lines pretty easily. And we have 3iAtlas near. Can you believe that we are 4 weeks, nearly 4 weeks and 2 days away from Christmas Day? And from the 20th to the 25th of Christmas, December, in that holiday, 3iAtlas is going to pretty much pass Earth at its closest apex point. And it has the same angle as a Pyramid of Giza, and the other is the same angle of the appearance of the Lady of Fatima in 1913. And I've already done this on the show 3 weeks ago. You can go, it was all about 3iAtlas show. I'd spent 2 days just doing the research, pulling it together to deliver that show 3 weeks ago Monday on 3iAtlas. And it is still coming here. So it's putting out communications that you can read. It has sped up by 300%, which comets do not do, nor do asteroids. It is glowing up to 500% brighter than it originally was. Somebody turned on the high beams. And it's got an amazing trail. And they've been able to verify it's made 95% of it, at least, of nickel. And it's shiny. And it came from the deep part of the galaxy 7.6 billion years ago. All biblical, all powerful, all lining up. So on December 21st is our spring equinox, right? We know, winter and spring, We know that on the 21st of the year, that's when it's the darkest day of the year. And then everything else getting into summertime starts to get lighter and lighter and lighter. So look at this. President Trump signs an executive order on December 21, 2017. On or about December 21, 2025, 3iAtlas is to cross Earth's plane. In 3iAtlas, if you saw that show, I laid it all out for you. The multiple biblical markers from actually Islam to Christianity to Judaism, which have been hitting all these points put together by amazing astrophysicists. We are 100% in beautiful biblical times. And we're watching the crypto dip and the fiat crash all around the world, shaking it out, letting people know that here it is, asset-backed currency is the day. Not as it is the day, it'll win the day. So here we are in US debt clock. And oh, by the way, I just want to give accolades here to Spiritual Street Fighter, leveraged in the real Spiritual Street Fighter 17, which is an amazing job. And follow that handle on X, Truth Social, really incredible. So there you are, time to show the world. It's pretty great, right? And we also had on Friday, not an exact Q delta to the day, but it was a throwback to John F. Kennedy's assassination. And here's what that QCOM reads, highlighted in red. Rest in peace, Mr. President JFK. Through your wisdom and strength since your tragic death, patriots have planned, installed, and by the grace of God, activated the beam of light. All caps. We will forever remember your sacrifice. May you look down from above and continue to guide us as we ring the bell of freedom, in all caps, and destroy those who wish to sacrifice our children, our way of life, and our world. We, the people. Prayer said every single day in the Oval Office. JFK, secret societies, where we go one, we go all. Q. And that was posted on the boards February 10, 2018. And God bless President Kennedy, as we have just celebrated his funeral, the anniversary of it. And we have that anniversary yesterday on ISO 20022. And remember, I've been saying this off and on for years as to what this means. And if you're just cluing up on this for the first time, I'll let you know now. And by the way, we also have certain digital asset tokens which are registered for this, which is XRP, XLM, and XDC. So right now, banks all speak slightly different languages where they send payments or move funds to the BIS, right? And the ISO, International Standards 20022, and notice that when you take the gematria, you remove the zeros, you have 222. That is the angel number of faith. So it makes everybody use the same format. It levels the playing field for cross-border payments. So you're upgrading from messy, different, disparate systems to this. So money, assets, going to move faster. It says fewer errors and with way more detail. And hooked up to quantum computers. So it's like plugging a supercharged brain into a highly organized and perfected database. So the quantum machines, they can scan, they can verify and secure huge amounts of financial data almost instantly. And ISO 20022, remember angel number of faith right there in gematria, gives them clean data to work with. Quantum computers are giving the system insane speed and security. And they make financial transactions, again, faster, smarter, faster than ever, especially those banks whom we know in America are hooked up to RippleNet and the XRP ledger. And we've seen and shared on this show before that with RippleNet, XRP ledger, it could handle upwards of 1 billion transactions and settlements in 2 seconds or less. And that was 2 years ago. And we are not when I was at RIM BlackBerry, where, hey, every 7 years, technology, the rate of technology, the scale of it, it's going to double every 7 years. Right now, it's every 3 months. It's incredible. So we are here now. All the banks, anyone who are functioning with cross-border payments, are linked on quantum computers, their financial systems. You are in a quantum financial system era, all of you, right now. And President Trump keeps saying, golden age, gold beneath our feet. And what did Q say? Gold will end the Fed. And it continues to roll forward on what I would say like super breakneck speed. If I was kind of quoting out of Spaceballs, which is a great movie, that'd be awesome. I hope Rick Moranis is a great guy. I felt he always is. And here we have it on US Debt Clock. Again, the new money revolution, a golden age, the dividend dollar. And even on US Debt Clock now, it talks about the asset-backed dollar. Precious metals asset-backed dollar. So once again, like we are in a wake-up call. And I need you all tuned in for this part, no matter where you are in the world. Because for Americans especially, we've got 7 days left on that gold co-offer that honestly, it feels unreal in this economy where they're gifting 11% free match in gold or silver on qualified orders. So, I mean, every week, you know, for years talk about the old system wobbling, and every week, you know, you've got a breakdown in banks, you have debt, quadrillions in debt out there, currency games, digital controls, the LBMA, which I've talked about a few times over the last several shows, you know, Sundays, what's happening over there. China, Shanghai wants all the gold in their banks. This is one of the few moments where you can actually move instead of just watching the show. Literally, it's not theory. This is precious metals. It's in your hands. Go to get bullion, physical precious metal bullions, not fancy coins that you may not be able to sell because there's no market for it. Just gold, silver, bullion, ship it to your home when you get it from Goldco, or put it in a depository. Because if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been thinking about hedging for retirement, savings, your family, do it now. If you want sovereignty from a financial standpoint, stack assets that outlive inflation and nonsense. You hit the link. That's buddhalovesgold.com. Make the move and build your buffer before the window slams shut. Right? And that link, buddhalovesgold.com, is going to take you over to this page that I showed you earlier, right here. And you can go and call them toll free on that number. It's logged right to us because this is only exclusive for the Sovereign Soul Show. 11% until November 30th. And it's less than 7 days for that. All right. We have incredible people who have taken advantage of the Goldco offer. There's 7,000 5-star reviews alone. That's amazing. Had incredible customer service. They are rated the #1 money manager for IRAs for customer service in America for last year. And we have had nothing but great feedback from them. Plus, people have got thousands to tens of thousands of dollars in free silver. So that's why I just love making sure that all of you have an opportunity to prosper. And again, like I said earlier, right? Your future self is going to thank your current self. And this is full-on strategy, right? To anybody who cares about their future, we all do. And that 11% match is about to go away. Now, for everybody in other countries, and you've got an extra couple $100, couple $1,000. And again, this is extra. This is stuff where you're like, okay, save it for a rainy day, whatnot. I would encourage you to get some precious metals that are quick for sale and value, because all paper currency is depreciating anyway. So it's going to depreciate. So the value of your Canadian dollar, Aussie dollar, your British pound, your American US Federal Reserve note, nothing Federal Reserve about it, will depreciate every hour, every minute, every day, every week until everything flips publicly. Hey, here's the new currency paper backed by precious metals everywhere. In a massive public way, it depreciates. So you take it now to stop some of that depreciation, to hedge against it. You acquire silver bullion, gold bullion as well. And then you have an opportunity there. If it comes for a rainy day, that's going to continue to go up, because you can see that. I showed it on the silver chart. I'll put it up there again if you need to see it once more. Excuse me, the gold chart. Because for 100 years of gold, look at this sucker go. And again, it crossed, that goes up to $2,000 at the beginning of the year, 2024. We're sitting here now where it crossed 4,300 US. And we're still seeing in the short positions right now across the exchanges, checking right before it came on, backwardation. So the short positions for silver and gold are equal match to the price of spot for gold and silver right now. That means that all of those big banks and central banks and hedge funds that are trying to unwind their derivatives positions are pushing down the futures prices so that they can back off and go to cash for Monday, so that they can cover their bets that they made, right? Just like a bookie, they can cover for themselves. And the next thing is this continues to expand and go off like a frog in a sock, as the Aussies say. And that frog in the sock is continuing to take it to where US Declatic even shows that gold at $12,557 an ounce. That's without any suppression. That's without COMEX. And that is what they say is adjusted for true value of gold and silver in the US Treasury asset back. Remember, metallurism is a real term brought in with the Philadelphia Mint Act for federal currency paper, backed by precious metals in 1792, constitutional money. And that is exactly what President Trump and the administration are bringing back in. So when currencies erode, when markets are freaking not even wobbling, they're just going all over the place, and governments are going crazy. The improvise, we're seeing the gold and the silver stay where it's always been. It's real value. There's no fine print or system glitches because it's literally freaking coming out of the ground, and there's no middleman with Gold Cup. You're getting right into it. And this audience, and this is a crew that likes to move ahead, think ahead. All of you prep in your various ways and you protect. And the herd that's out there, they're going to catch on later next year. And we're not part of that herd. We are here future-proofing our lives. So those people, they all make excuses. The herd, the sheep, the ones who are wearing masks, the ones who are like, maybe President Trump was our president at the time, and maybe this is an operation. You all know. So I'd encourage anybody listening to this, listening to my voice, watching this broadcast, lock in that match, add the real metal to your corner. You're going to be thanking us. You'll be thanking Goldco. And that's how sovereign people play the game. Early, smart, decisive, with real data, not pie in the sky stuff. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. And then we're going to see the crypto stuff come back. And you're going to see over the next few months, certain players wash out and others will rise. And what's interesting is you can look at certain players right now, like the ones that JP Morgan Chase set up with the CCP party of China. It's called Ethereum, that they promoted in the early days, and they got their guy to be their spokesperson who lives in the CCP China. And this has all come out during the Ripple case. Remember SEC Ripple? It's all there. Like, wait a second. So you said Ethereum was to be sovereign as a cryptocurrency, but it was actually nearly 56% owned by a joint venture from JP Morgan Chase and the CC Party of China? What? Yep, there it is in the case. And all the conspiratorial people and entities and organizations which pumped Ethereum and BTC, and they attacked XRP and Ripple. Well, ISO 20022 is live for anything that would be leveraged by the US Treasury anyway, and Bitcoin and Ethereum are not that compliant. Nope. So they're a crypto, not a digital asset. You think crypto, crypt, Tales from the Crypt, death, crypto. It always creeped me out, that name, cryptocurrency. And I appreciate my friend Jim Valley saying digital asset. Like, yep, digital asset investor. Yep, digital asset where you can have tokenized stuff on contracts connected to physical precious metals, physical property. It's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful where we are, everybody. And with that, we are complete for this amazing evening to share with all of you souls around the planet. I truly appreciate all of you too for being here. And remember, next week is American Thanksgiving holiday. So for all of you who are in America right now and getting ready for it, and having, lived there for years, primarily Colorado, but also from my time from New York City to California, I was blown away. And I've had incredible Thanksgivings with my cousins and family members direct in the States. I was blown away that it is bigger than Christmas. Because in Canada, for all the Canadians who are the chat, we've got a few here, it was always like, Christmas is the big time, the big holiday. It goes right to New Year's. You have leading up to Christmas, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, goes through to New Year's. And I'm like, man, the Americans make Thanksgiving their Christmas. I think they had it backwards. But at the end of the day, it's not just about the date. It's about the time. It's about the meaningful relationships that we all have and the enjoyment and the assistance we can provide to people with our knowledge, with our actions. And for those of you who have extras to donate to people, real foundations, not USAID at this point in time, right? Maybe soup kitchens that are truly helping those in greater need than ourselves. I bless you. I thank you. I appreciate you. And on behalf of the Bling Buddha and the Sovereign Soul Show, thanks everybody for being here. Truly appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week and maybe even tomorrow. Having a couple incredible guests coming up this week. Until then, have a great night. All right, you sovereign souls, now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver if you already have not. And if you are and you have a chance to do so, I highly encourage to do so even more, because gold and silver will launch the golden age, which Commander-in-Chief Trump has continuously referenced.
The dollar is going down, and it's not a pretty picture, and it's not being sustained by proper policy and proper thinking. This was an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity to show people what's happening with the dollar so that we can do something about it.
Get some if you can. BuddhaLovesGold.com will take you to our partner Gold Co. They have over 6,000 5-star reviews. This is why now is the time to buy gold and silver, because we have thousands of Americans buying gold today. The rising inflation has reduced our purchasing power. Dysfunctional politics don't work for us. The US dollar has lost over 97% of its value since 1913, while the price of gold has increased over 9,000%. Silver has fared well against the dollar too, with the silver price increasing over 4,500% since 1913. It's about wealth protection. Physical precious metals act as a hedge against dips in volatile markets. Go over to BuddhaLovesGold.com. That's www.BUDDHA, BuddhaLovesGold.com. You will download your free silver and gold guide today, and our great people over there at Gold Co will take care of you. That's BuddhaLovesGold.com. You'll see a picture of me right on there, Brad Wozni. And once again, BRICS is the new financial system. Asset-backed precious metals is the way of the future. This is about financial control. Diversifying your assets with gold and silver puts you in control of your wealth at BuddhaLovesGold.com.